Welcome back. Now we start the program in earnest, and we're going to be looking at Nigeria at 55, the journey ahead. Some would indeed say that we have a long journey ahead of us. After all, a state at 55 is still a young state, although people are comparing states to persons all the time and saying a 55-year-old man is an old man. But as far as states go, a 55-year-old state
could just be 5 years.
It's a young state. It will still have some teething problems. Teething at 55? Yes, because America is over 200 years old. And you like to compare Nigeria to America. In America, in the US, this doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. Nigeria turned 55 on Thursday. And there is a job ahead of us as Nigerians. And I mean each Nigerian,
yes,
not
indeed.
Government. Each Nigerian has a role to play in this journey ahead to turn this country into a great country. Now, to discuss with us this morning, it's my pleasure to welcome in our studios in Lagos, Sembe Nyaga, who is a procurement monitor.
Thanks for having me over. Good morning.
We also have Ezekiel Nya Etok, who likes to be described as a senior citizen.
Thanks and for having me. You didn't add that part.
Well, everyone knows he's an architect.
No,
Suddenly he wants to be described as a senior citizen because he has all that mop of grey hair
It comes with time and age.
Which doesn't say much, I promise you.
It comes with time and age.
Good morning, Ezekiel.
Nice
Good to have you with us.
Thanks so much.
And from our studios in Abuja, it's my pleasure to welcome an APC chieftain, Osita Okechukwu. Good morning. Morning, Osita.
Okay, he's there.
Okay, well, you're there and you can hear us. Now, the president spoke to us on Independence Morning, and people have taken apart everything that he said. Possibly, I think, probably line by line. What did you think about that speech, Ezekiel? Or should I say that address?
I think that it was nice. He said a lot of things, yeah. But looking from a different perspective, thinking in terms of what you started with, which is what I really loved. What we normally look at is Nigeria at 55, the journey so far. I don't like that. But when you look at the journey ahead, I think that he's a man that has come at a good time, though I didn't vote for him, I always say that. And what we can do as Nigerians now is to make the best of what we have in our larger interest. And to that extent, I think that there are probably one or two things I had expected which probably did not come the way I anticipated. But we should also realize that there's no man that is going to give everybody what he expects, because we're all looking at things from different perspectives. But when we look at Nigeria, one of the first things about Nigeria is our togetherness. There was need for a major reassurance. We've come so far, we're going together. We. That animation, we, needed to be really, really strong and I de-emphasized. And he did that to a very great extent. And then when you give us that reassurance of our collective destiny and future, collective, then the next thing would be how we get there. And that's talking in terms of the policies. Look, this is where we are going from here. Every other thing would have been just, this is who we are, this is where we are going from here. If I'd gotten those two elements, I would have been a little better or happier. He did some part, but probably not exactly the way I expected. And like I said, he can't satisfy everybody.
No, let me going to bring it to Sembe. Sembe, he's talked that he did some part, he didn't do some part. There are a lot of people who disagree that the president covered everything, where we are and where we're going. But what do you think?
I think there's a long road ahead. First of all, I think that, it's it's certainly much more, it's steadier than we thought it would be, perhaps. Maybe we thought that there would be several structures in place now, and I'm happy personally that I think there's some kind of reassurance of integrity. I think he brings that to bear. But I think that going forward, I think there's lots of work to do to institutionalize that integrity so that it's not only in a person, but it's also in the institutions and in the structures of governance, because you can't leave it to the whims of someone if the person is there or not there. But I think that all of that which he has brought, which is great, and we needed that kind of personality perhaps to do that, but now we need to take it into our institutions. And I think that we have several frameworks for that to happen. So we have things like the Freedom of Information Act, we have the Public Procurement Act. Those are regulatory frameworks that would enable things to be, it takes away powers from individuals and puts it inside the institutions. But we need to make them work, and I think that that is paramount to moving forward, and taking our Nigeria to the next level.
Interesting. Interesting. yes, I am rather. Let me bring in Mr. Kuchukwu in Abuja. We're talking about making sure that power does not reside in persons, but in institutions. I would say we have mouthed this for a long time. Make institutions stronger. Make institutions stronger. How are we going to achieve that, do you think?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that Nigeria has to celebrate at our 5-5. We've remained united. Our population had increased. We are still the most populous country in Africa, the 9th in the world. We have also attained the zenith of liberal democracy, where 2 major political parties are holding sway in a multi-party system, where we conducted a credible election, and as President Muhammadu Buhari said, where we were honored by the former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, concession of defeat early enough that saved the Nigerian people the unintended consequences that could have followed, and which to me will be a benchmark in future elections. And for that, we have a lot to celebrate. If you go to the international community, Nigeria today is highly rated. And if we could sustain those ratings, I think we should get out of the trap of the old stereotype that Nigeria is a mere geographical expression. There is no country in the world that is not a mere geographical expression. It was Ambassador Matnick that first used that word in the League of Nations in 1918, when he addressed Italy as a mere geographical expression. But Italy has remained one country since then. So is Nigeria. So coming to the structures you say, I think we're beginning with a new step in terms of setting up the structures. Because when you have the head, and the head is clear on where he's going, in the person of Mr. President, I think the institutions will follow in line. What are those institutions we are talking about? The institutions that